Yeah, so communication was not good. Still kind of needs some work, but it's working as we are. What was our biggest downfall was programming. We didn't have the like skill set that we needed to do it how we needed. It was more, and I'm an animation major, so that's not my forte either. So working with that was our biggest downside. Communication was good, not good. But working together, like I've got to know a lot more people. Like I knew no one coming on my team, and now I'm friends with most of them. So that's really nice, and I think they feel the same way. So it's really nice.
How ready is the team for Fuse? Like, are you guys ready for like running the thing and keeping up with like the huge lines?
I think so. Honestly, haven't really thought about it that much. Just trying to get this thing done. And I think we're all on the same page of when Fuse comes, a big relief off of our shoulders. Like, it's been a lot of work with everyone, and the workload has been a lot. So I think we're all excited to be done, which is sad to say, but like it's about time.
Yeah, it's been a bit rough this semester. I think overall with this and like other projects, I probably bit off a little bit more than I could like easily chew this semester, but I guess despite that, I've been kind of hanging in there and holding out and doing all right, I guess.
What have you been working on to get ready for like this last little push?
I mean, for the most part, like our big issue right now is just trying to get everything like polished and like looking a lot nicer. Like earlier today, I was just kind of working on trying to get some like cell shading stuff worked on for the project, because that was like a cool thing we wanted to try and make it look a little nicer in the end.
Cool. So is that a lot of like UX, UI kind of stuff? Like, is there a ton of actual like hard coding to be done?
In terms of hard coding, there's not like a lot. Most of the hard coding for the project is done. It's just a lot of like tweaking a little bit of things to make it look a little nicer and like work a little nicer. But in terms of actually like adding new features and stuff, there's not really much more to do for that.
I won't lie, it hasn't been the easiest. I'm the only one on the team who is a designated UX major, so I've had to kind of teach some people about UX, kind of what it is, what it means to the game. So in that respect, it has been a little bit challenging, but you're going to find that anywhere. And it's kind of my job to kind of work with teams and kind of get them to understand where we can go. And we have had our setbacks and we have had disagreements. It's going to happen. But at the end of the day, we just have to remind each other we're doing this for the good of public we're going to attract and the good of our game, and that we need to provide them with an accessible experience. And we are ultimately able to compromise, which is very rewarding, because sometimes I can't win, sometimes they can't win. So we have to kind of work together and figure out the best path to it.
So how ready are you for like the playtesting and the UX and like the having people actually play it who don't know what they're actually doing? Like, how ready are you guys?
So we actually had a major breakthrough recently. Yesterday we had the opportunity to have kids come in, and they are our main audience, and we got a lot of the data. They were super excited, and that's just not a reaction you get from older people. And we literally had kids run straight for our area when they saw our opening screen, and that was really rewarding. So we know we can attract their attention. We just have some small tweaks to add, but we've been talking about in terms of UI what we need to do for those tweaks, and it really isn't as much as we thought. A lot of it is going to be transferred over and be consistent with levels, but we have a lot of assets and we have a lot of stuff in place. And in terms of where we're headed, like our programmers just need to take the time to implement it, and I think it'll be very exciting and it'll add to the space feel we're trying to create.
So, meeting with Ken tomorrow about the equipment we have left. Honestly, we don't really need that much equipment, just because, like, from our original proposal, so much was shaved down, so much additional, like, set dressing stuff and just general equipment was cut down that we basically just need the headsets and the headphones that go with them, and the department already has those in stock, so we just basically need to figure out the layout of those along with the monitor that we're going to use for, you know, the day of at Fuse. The one thing we're missing that I'm a little worried about is that we're supposed to have a printer that we're printing out these, you know, these nice little take-home things that have a nice little screenshot of the environment and, you know, a link to where we have the music so you can enjoy that environment, you know, outside of Fuse. We're supposed to have that printer, and I have not heard about that in a while, and it was going to be a fun thing we're going to hand out the day of. but I really don't know where we're at with that, so I kind of have to ask Ken about that, just because, in all honesty, it kind of fell out of my mind just with the amount of other things I've had to worry about with Meditation Station. But that's something I'm gonna have to bring up with him, because I don't know where we landed on that. And it's not technology, but we need chairs. Last I heard, we were just gonna steal some comfortable chairs from the department, so we didn't have to use, you know, the plastic folding chairs that you find at just about any museum event. But I also have to ask about that, but I'm not quite sure if Ken's the person that's gonna answer that question for me.
So everything is looking pretty finished. It seems like you're really finalizing everything out. Where's left to go from here?
Oh god. I like how you say that everything looks finalized when it's not. At least the interactions and a good amount of the programming is finalized. What we have left to do is just get final animations and textures, which is actually going to be done next Friday. Fingers crossed. So that's going to be done. After that, the week after that, is just going to be programming, doing last-minute implementations and bug fixes of anything that there is left to do of, you know, the 3D stuff that's done next Friday. But I don't know how much of that last week we're going to need to use for this, just because programming is doing a good job of doing everything, you know, as it comes in and we upload stuff to the drive. Right now, it's just a few, like, you know, doing some polish things, doing some slight, you know, story stretch goals at this point to help sort of lead the user through the environment. So it feels pretty good that this is what we have left to do, except some of it, like, just because I don't know too much about programming, I'm thinking, oh god, it's gonna be harder to implement than I think it is gonna be. And then Kyron or Caden will say, well, it's actually not that bad, and it'll be like, yes.
But then the things you think are easy will be like, oh no, it's terribly hard.
There's an animation that has absolutely been plaguing me for like 1-2 weeks. I don't know why. It's this one animation. It's the world's simplest animation, and the eyes are disconnected from the body. I use the same.
Oh, is it that one wolf one?
I use the same
still
model.
happening?
Yes!
Oh,
It's just slightly different. Like, I'm close to fixing it, but not quite. I'm very close to calling it quits on that animation, but it makes me scared for like the last 1-2 animations I have left to do on that model, because I don't know if it's gonna happen. Every other animation with the same model, and the same rig, is completely fine, except for that one, and I have tried so many different things, and it's still not working.
Oh, jeez.
And this is, and it's the simplest thing ever, and it's not working. And then I'm thinking, oh, we're gonna have this like whole storyline to guide you through. And then Kyron's like, that's not gonna be too bad. I'm like, cool.
It's gonna be too bad. You'll just jump scare any child that tries to watch it.
Hi, my name's Luke Hensley. I'm one of the coders on our team. I mean, for me personally, right now, I'm trying to work on this pause menu, and there's been problems with it. You know, just things not being in the right spot, but we're working on it. And just in general, Unity can be finicky sometimes, so it's sometimes you gotta like really work at it and at certain problems in order to get them done.
So what's still left to do on the programming end here?
We're kind of just working on like small stuff. I know Gabe's working on music stuff. I'm doing the pause menu. We're trying to work on an ending to the game pretty soon here, as well as just finalizing animations and all that sort of thing.
What do you think the ending's gonna look like?
I think we were talking about having you sit down on the bench that's at the very end of the game. Like, I think it's over here somewhere. It's by like the waterfalls and stuff.
Got it.
So it'll be. We haven't really discussed it further than that, but I know that's at least where we're at, starting wise.
Yeah, well, everything's looking really finished, especially since the last time I saw it.
Yeah, we're getting real close. We're really excited about it. It's also getting a little stressful, you know, crunch, getting to the end.
Don't I know it?
Some of the issues have just been more on the technical side. So things like models that have like protrusions whenever they are animated or stuff like that. A lot of that's easily fixable. It's just a matter of going back and reworking it. Although sometimes they can become more of an issue due to various like stuff within the program and things like that. Other than that, though, it's just a matter of a lot of time and just like making sure that things flow well into each other and things like that. Although, yeah, overall it's been going rather well.
So what are all the different types of animals that are in the game now? Do you have a bunch of different ones? Just a few?
Yeah, a good variety. Not like a huge amount, but not a small amount either. We got a couple of squirrels, a couple of we got like deer, a kind of wolf type thing of sorts. A couple of birds, things like that.
Yeah. Do they serve any function other than just like just fun, or do they actually serve another function, like they'll lead you to a place or something like that?
Yeah, we got a couple of those. So we got the deer kind of leading you through into the second section.
Okay.
It's not for sure, but we might end up using some of them to kind of block off areas after people move into them.
To make sure that they don't spend too much time in backtrap, because it is a small, like it's supposed to be a short experience.
Yeah, and then other than that, just the interactions, being able to walk up to them and pet them, feed them, etc.
At this point, we were originally planning to have like a bunch of animations play for the different body parts, like during the countdown that happens right before the battle. It would show that like each body part acting a different way as like the monster like reassembled itself on the stage. But that in and of itself would have been a lot of work. So we had to cut that and just leave it to they are just already assembled, because they're already going to be assembled in the creation scene, and some of us figured it wouldn't make sense if they had to reassemble again. As cool as some of the ideas we had, because we had a lot of ideas for that. But considering how much time it's taken and how small our animation team is, we've just had to push forward with what's more important, which is for the creation and the actual fighting animations, because that's the core aspect of it.
How are you feeling about where the build is at with so little time left? Like, where's your thought process right now?
Gameplay-wise, I think it's going good. We've already been changing up like the battle system a little bit. Regarding everything else, though, a lot currently falls on the animators to get a lot done in such a short amount of time.
Like what?
And so, right now there's no animations in the creation portion, so they're just kind of still. And then also, we want the monsters to have multiple kinds of attacks during the actual battle. Right now it's just one each. So there's more variety and more spectacle, I guess, in what they do.
So stuff like when they're hanging in their tanks, they'll be doing like the jabber back and forth.
We figured that since
like
they were going to be in full tanks, they were going to be more just like floating.
Okay, that makes sense.
In place. Yeah, and then like we always kept talking about like a finishing move at the end that would like destroy the loser.
That'd be cool.
And
that
would require a lot of animations, and considering what we already have, it has me a bit concerned regarding the time frame. But fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Hopefully it can get done.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm Cole Stranzik, and I'm working on Mismatched Mayhem on the design and programming team. Yeah, programming load was definitely, it was large at the start, but it's steadily been decreasing because we've been holding consistent weekly meetings on Saturdays. I'd say we've been getting a lot done during those times. At the moment, the programming workload has definitely lowered a bit to the point where we're kind of almost struggling at times to come up with little minuscule things to do on our meeting Saturday, our programmer specific meeting, because a lot of it at the moment, as I'm certain Jessica probably told you, a lot of it is kind of dependent on the rest of the animations and stuff that is yet to be put in. So at the moment, the programming load, to summarize, it is a bit lower because we're waiting on roles from and things from other teams to get to a point that we can actually start programming that in.
So you've got a build up here. Which build is this?
This is a slightly earlier build of the current game. This is one we're using right now since it's a bit more stable for playtesting. We're editing a lot more with the current build, and it wouldn't be quite playtester friendly. So this is probably the most cohesive one we've got right now. It's a slightly earlier version.
Got it. What's in the newer build that's not going to be in this one?
Newer build at the moment is mostly just going to be a different stat buffing system, because at the moment, the buffing system is a bit like mash heavy. You take the 3 buttons you got here and you mash the hell out of them to buff your stats up, but we want to be a bit less like, whoever's just slams their fist faster. Yeah, exactly, whoever's faster. So the newer build we've got, the system works that you've got the 3 symbols representing strength, defense, and attack speed, and you select between them with the joystick, and then there's just one dedicated button for mashing. So there's a bit more of a choice involved in terms of what do you want to
versus what the other person is choosing to buff what
you need to buff what you want to buff and sort of determine, do I want to do more damage, do I want to take less, or do I want to attack faster? We figured giving the players more choice in it rather than just having them mash wildly would make them sort of maybe get them a bit more engaged in the battle itself. They got to think about what they want to buff and what they don't want to.
Yeah, I really like that system. That's a lot better than it was, I think.
We definitely had to scale down a lot. It's difficult to kind of balance between school stuff and this project, but I feel like we have been especially struggling. Even with our structure, it's still difficult to just get every single member in one place. And we're still we're definitely on more so the same page than before. We still have some struggles, some everyone has different ideas. We're trying to make sure everyone's heard.
Okay, so I was just hearing about how your system has changed from just button mashing to a selection. So what abilities is there a system for how they beat out each other, or like if you have more of this and more of this, then you're gonna win, or how do the abilities kind of mix in with each other?
And at least we're not trying to make it so that just having these increased stats automatically wins. It at least makes those stats better. It adds to that sort of randomness and the mayhem that we are trying to go for.
What I'm more curious about is what's the system kind of behind it. Like, let's say I have we both choose the same characters, and then how does the stats influence? Like, if someone else is pushing more strength, should I push something else? Right? Like, should I not push my strength? Should I maybe push another ability to try and get ahead?
It's more, I guess it's more so what you think is the best thing to do, because you could also increase your strength, but maybe you could also increase your speed, or to say maybe your defense. Since you might think, if they're gonna increase this, I might as well increase this to kind of try and negate
counterbalance.
That. Yeah.
Yeah. So there is sort of a countering system that you can use. It seems a little more strategic in a way.
A little bit, yeah.
Was that your intention, to make it more strategic?
Kind of. I mean, ultimately, what we're going for is a more spontaneous and just anything could happen.
Got it.
So some of the struggles that we're actually coming into right now, but also solving, is the actual feel, like I was talking about earlier, the actual feel of our exhibit. Because we have all the actual technical stuff pretty much done, but we want to make sure that all of the actual exhibit feels correct. It's immersive. And that's what we're struggling with right now, is how we can actually do that properly without making it look too janky almost, not making it look like it was just thrown together last minute. I mean, we have 20 days, so it's kind of last minute, but we're getting it done hopefully soon. Yeah. All right, so as you can see, we're doing some actual hands-on arts and crafts type stuff here. We're actually building some of our physical exhibit pieces. We're trying to build an archway into our exhibit, for example, just to kind of give that immersive feel, you're actually in an actual exhibit, rather than just here's an iPad at a table, have fun, So we're actually doing some stuff like that. Other stuff that we need to polish up on, we have just some more customizable plant accessories and things like that. We're working on what's going to be displayed on our TVs, for example, instruction screens or gameplay footage. Working on that type of stuff as well. Just making sure that it's all ready for the actual museum to be presented.
Yeah. So it's all about the feel and the vibe.
That's exactly,
the
yeah.
actual exhibit itself.
Yeah, because we have Jackson's polishing up some of just our actual technical stuff, but we need to actually work on the aesthetics stuff, if you will. So yeah, that's pretty much what we're working on polishing up for the 20 days we have left.
Yeah, it's coming up quick.
Yep, it is.
It's been a roller coaster. I started out, I was really loving it, and then I think David and Heather at one point was you need everything to be in AR, and so then that pretty much cut my whole job out of the whole project out. And then Shane came into the next meeting and was yeah, we're cutting all the environments. But then I fought for it, and we came to a compromise, and so I'm still working on it, having fun.
So with Fuse 2 or 3 weeks away.
Yeah.
What else do you guys have to actually do for the project?
So we still have to do a little bit of coding on the non-AR environment, just for like sending the plants to the database and putting them in the level. And for Jackson, that's not going to be too much. And then we're just messing with the AR scene right now to make it look a little better and feel nice.
Okay, cool. Introduce yourself. What do you work on for Theia?
I'm Jackson Lauman. I'm the programmer for Theia. I was a big fan of the project when we started the ideas. Like, I really pushed for something genetics based, because that is the core of our system, is actually the plants have genes. Those genes are just a bunch of numbers which dictate how it's generated from nothing up into the plant. And I just really liked the idea from the start, a game that uses, or experience that uses genes to generate a plant or animal. We ended up with plant, and went for more of an alien approach, which made it a lot cooler. It makes it a lot more fun to program some cool stuff. And then we are obviously where we are now. I'm really excited for Fuse itself, because I think our project is going really well. I'm excited to show it off. I think it's had some major strides recently for sure. And especially with the rest of the team kind of working on getting the environment of the actual Fuse booth, I think all of those will combine to make a really, really fun couple of days.
What have you been working on lately?
I mean, I do everything programming-wise, so everything in Unity. That's me. I guess recently we've been upping the amount of customization to all the plants and making all the UI new and intuitive and look a lot nicer, as well as adding the color system. That was all in the last week. We increased the amount of like stems and trunks from 3 to 9, and we added a way to change the colors of each parts of the plant. So there's like a primary and a secondary for your flower head or your tree leaves / growth, and then there's a color for your stem and your accessories, all that. We limited it so that you have a list of colors because we didn't want people taking forever with some sliders. And we kind of want to limit the colors so that all of our plants end up looking nice. You know, we don't want somebody to make like a neon mess, and then in the non-AR scene that's going to be shown on a TV, and we don't want someone walking by and seeing a neon mess. So we're just kind of working on making the plants look nicer. We're continually iterating on the generation to make them, neat.
Next time on Fuse Plugged In.
So overall, I think we're making pretty good progress, and I think the game's turning out really well so far.
I am as exhilarated as I am terrified. The usability is there. It's just the quality of the experience that we're trying to improve.
It's not that hard. It just takes a lot of time to sit there and listen to the song and time out when everything's supposed to happen.